Okay, there's the topside camouflage started and the initial coat on. As I said earlier in this build, I haven't pre-shaded the topside camouflage. As you can see, the actual colours are quite dark, so I'd rather not pre-shade, and I just tend to lose all the pre-shading if I do that. So what I do is, after getting the initial coat on, I go for a kind of a post-shade stroke intermediate shading. So what I'm going to do for that, normally I'd mix this straight into the colour cup, but I'm going to use this little mixing palette here just to show you what I'm doing. So I've taken a drop of the base colour, the RLM 73 here. I can actually put the lid back on that for now, just to stop it drying out on me. And what I'm going to do is just lighten this colour up to a fairly light grey-green sort of colour for the intermediate shading. So here's some Tamiya XF2 flat white. So I'm just going to pour a little bit of that in there, okay, and mix it around. And as you can see, that has gone exceedingly light. Pretty much what I'm looking for, to be fair. So I'm just going to add a good dollop of Mr. Colour leveling thinner to that. I want a thin mixture for the intermediate shade. It will be thinner than you're seeing here when I'm spraying it, so I'm going to thin it back possibly a little bit more. So if you compare that to the topside camouflage, you can see how much lighter that really is. Let's put the lid back on the white here so I don't spill it. I'm just going to pour that mixture there into my colour cup, and I'm going to see how easily it comes through. Well, there you go, it's coming through immediately now. So I'm just going to drop the pressure back. Okay, for intermediate shading, what I do is, as you saw me with my black pre-shading a couple of days ago, a fairly similar sort of thing. I'm just picking random patches of panel here. Okay, and as you can see, I'm just going on very, very light over the random patches here. And really very little different from the pre-shading I did, picking out random curved patches of the paint. As with pre-shading, you really don't have to be particularly careful with this. What I'm going to do is give all of the fabric areas that are exposed just a light misting over with this colour completely. This is one of those situations where you really don't need it to be that neat, okay? More random in some ways, the better it will look on the finished model. And that, I hope you can see, is that. It's basically just doing that over the whole model at this stage to create this random lightened pattern. So I've got this Tamiya paint thinned with Mr. Colour leveling thinner, which means it dries extremely quickly, but it also, the retarder, which is in the Mr. Colour leveling thinner, is helping a great deal to prevent my nozzle clogging, so it's continuing to spray very, very nicely. And that's it. I'm just going to go over the whole model doing that. I'll show you the results when I'm done, and we'll move on from there. Okay, there's the finished post shading, stroke intermediate shading. I hope that's showing up on the camera pretty well. But as you can see, I've added quite a lot, and it's really very light against the dark green. Okay. So as I said, now I'm going to blend this back in to make the post shading a lot more subtle, so I'm going to add a little bit of the original RLM73 colour. You don't need a lot, and I'm going to thin it back quite a long way. I've probably got, this is probably only about 30% paint. Back flush to mix it. I'm just going to see how it's coming through. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Put the lid on to make sure I don't spill it. And then it's literally just misting coats over the model like this, and building up the overcoat really to knock the paleness of that pre-shading back until you're happy with it. What you're looking for, or what I'm always looking for certainly, is just a slight alteration in the base tone. Now, because this thinner is this paint is thinned back a lot, you know, you can't linger over any one area for too long before you have to move on to another area to start the blending process. It is drying very quickly though, so I can go back in fairly short order and go over an area again. Any splatters or anything you've encountered while you're doing the intermediate shading will be blended in with this method as well very nicely, and will not look out of place at all. This is really one of those very easy methods that the results, if done carefully and thoughtfully, far outweigh the actual difficulty of the process. And that's literally it, guys. Just keep building the paint, keep building the coverage. Okay, as I get the third coat of this on there, it's really starting to fade and blend in nicely. And there we have it. What I will do is, as I did with the underside with each successive stage, that will receive a coat of Johnson's Clear when it's dry, just to seal it before I move on to the second camouflage colour. The second camouflage colour, exactly the same method again, and I'll show you that when it's finished. So there you go, there's how I post an intermediate shade, a darker camouflage, and I'll be back to show you the finished topside camouflage later on.